I hope that we're more mature in this conversation in the comments below, that this is more about the open mouth biohackers versus the noble natties who think my mouth should be fucking shut. What's up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at RussoLifts, just in case something happens to this YouTube channel. You can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What is up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's ASMR sip is some cherry bubbly for some carbonated sips. Be sure to drop a like on this video. Likes do help this channel get out of the shadow ban. Today I'm going to be going into the topic of the noble natties versus medical freedom. So today's day and age, right, social media has taken over. This is the information age, and this is my opinion. MK Ultra, I'll have Andrew throw up a little thing about MK Ultra, which downstream effect of MK Ultra creates what's called groupthink. Andrew can throw some groupthink information, and ultimately this information, tribalism. So what we're witnessing is online tribalism. People are forming tribes and they're going around, you know, with their tribe. They all think the same, trying to get people to groupthink together. And then the New World Order gets to pick, you know, which tribes they push to the top via the algorithm, via what they want to push. You see certain politics get pushed, and you see certain angles on, you know, information get pushed more than others. They're controlling the views, the metrics, which channels get bigger, which channels get smaller. Not entirely, but they'll throttle certain people, cough cough me, and then they'll boost other people up that they quote unquote agree with. Now that being said, we have the noble natties who are bringing it down, holding it down with saying that all PEDs are stupid, you should follow the natural method. Why do we even, you know, want to explore PEDs? I don't want to personally do PEDs, it's my body, I don't want to be peer pressured into that. I think all PEDs come with an inherent level of danger. I don't like taking risks. I want to remain natural my entire life and be noble about it, and know that my discipline of being a noble natty will carry me through life. And I'll have Andrew play a clip of, believe it or not, Tony Huge, the biggest fucking drug pusher on the planet. He was a noble natty, and I'll have Andrew play this clip.
Yeah, so the reason why I understand how these natties can feel so strongly against chemistry, and how the mainstream can, all the people that follow the mainstream can be so far against chemical enhancement, is because I was that guy before. I was the anti-steroid guy before. I was the anti-marijuana guy before. So that's why I understand my audience's psychology so much, and I try to do these gimmicky type things to change the way they look at it, because I don't want them to suffer the same way I did, depriving themselves of the ability to chemically enhance, because every facet of our quality of life can be improved with chemical enhancement. So I mean, you look at Rob's situation, and I care about people, and it's hard for me to watch so many people suffering from, let's call it something sensational, vitamin S deficiency, vitamin steroid deficiency. You know, if Rob would have gotten on steroids when he was 25, his life would be significantly better during that decade. He would be healthier, he'd live longer. I mean, he's on track now, but like, I think he probably feels the same way I felt, which is that he sort of lost a decade of his life. You know? I mean, when I was 30 years old and I finally decided to jump on steroids, it was after finally realizing that I spent a decade of my life not making progress, beating myself up in the gym, wearing down my joints and tendons and causing all this inflammation, and training hard and getting injuries, and the massive time consumption. When life is so short, if you don't love the gym, then you should optimize your time in the gym. I wish I would have started steroids at age 20. 21, maybe 21 if I didn't have the ability to look back. Like let's say if I can look back and know what I know now, I would tell my younger self to start steroids at age 20. That would have been the right age for me. But at the time, like I feel like I was still happy with the bodybuilding process. Like I was enjoying it up until I was probably 21. I was really enjoying being a natty. I was competing against the steroid users and I was beating them. You know, because the truth is, if you're 21 and you do everything right, you diet and you train and your life revolves around bodybuilding, then you can have an amazing physique. But the problem is when you get 25, 26, 27 and you start, you know, working as a lawyer, or you're working a lot of hours, or you have a family, and all of a sudden you can't dedicate all your time to health and fitness. Like you either got to take shortcuts or you're going to fall way behind.
Right, so he was the king of noble natties, lawyer in his late 20s, worth like 20-something million dollars, completely trained around the clock noble natty discipline, and he would compete against all the enhanced athletes in his local gyms, and he thought he was fucking better. He was literally like, you know, Andrew, when you have the RPG character, like noble natty, like when you're in World of Warcraft, like Tony was level 99 noble natty, exactly, you know, the epitome of what a noble natty should be, the most high output noble natty ever in Sacramento, California. And you see his paradigm shift, his mood switch over the years. But that's what noble natties are for. Now let's go over to medical freedom. Medical freedom, I guess you can slot me under this. We notice that the Western medical system is more along the lines of generating a profit, and is more along the lines of creating cash slaves, and is more along the lines of, you know, developing research, in my opinion, for the ruling class, and then using the little civilians as, you know, guinea pigs, test dummies, or milking them for money to further medical advancement for all of humanity. But there obviously has to be people feeding into the system for that to work. This leads to miraculous compounds never being completed in trials, being forgotten about, leads to all these, you know, experimental compounds that have all this promise on paper miraculously lose funding, aka if they brought those out, it would hurt the overall profit margin, so we're not going to do that. And you have the Western medical system lying about, you know, the worldwide epidemic of low testosterone in males that's going on. You have them creating this false narrative of male depression and all this shit, and that's coming from me, a bipolar male who you saw suffer through a bipolar depressive episode this last year and a half. Go on my channel, scroll down and see I was fat, I was depressed, everything. It's not that depression isn't real, it's that if I went into the Western, you know, system, they'd be like, oh, you need to take some SSRIs and some antidepressants and we'll get you hooked on those and then you'll be in the system. No, I figured out what I was going through and I pushed through, I crawled forward, and that depression was motivation because I wasn't happy where I was at in life. And instead, you know, the Western medical thing would band-aid me with antidepressants, fuck up my brain chemistry, and, you know, they would band-aid the real motivator, which is the depressive energy, to escape my situation. Now I sit here, you know, and gotten out of it. You know, if I would have went the Western medicine route, you know, I don't know if I would still like have ever gone out of it. But point being, there's people on both sides. This is not coming down to, oh, I want to juice myself up like a fucking racehorse 24/7 and, you know, die in my 40s, right? I hope that we're more mature in this conversation in the comments below, that this is more about the open mouth biohackers versus the noble natties who think my mouth should be fucking shut and that they should have full reign to completely dismiss all the biohackers and lump them into, you know, people who just want to kill people, people who want to steer people down this path of drug abuse and etc., where, you know, the biohackers are exposing in between the cracks the possibilities of all these compounds that never made it through for whatever reason, and, you know, they didn't receive funding, or, you know, they make up some bullshit study that it's dangerous, that's obviously a hit piece study, and studies obviously can be contorted to show whatever data you want to show. So I guess my opinion is, after the noble natties have hit the scene, after fake natties have been called out forever, you are now left with the openly enhanced biohacking community as well as the extreme drug abusers in the bodybuilding community versus the Western medicine, in my opinion, puppets. There's a couple Western medicine doctors that I follow and I think are great, but most of the doctors I follow aren't out of the West. Australian doctors I follow and Eastern medicine doctors I follow, but, you know, you have those prop heads and then you have all the noble natties who are going against, you know, the enhanced bodybuilding abuse category bodybuilders because they think they're stupid and and they think that, you know, these enhanced abuse bodybuilder category bodybuilders are steering teenagers down the wrong path. This is the current war zone we are witnessing. And me as based Russo, I see both sides of the coin, but in my opinion, it comes down to these noble natties on their YouTube channels trying to suppress freedom of information and trying to suppress freedom of speech. It's a slippery slope, and this is becoming communism. The whole point of this fucking social media, mind control, MK Ultra bullshit is to create a communist-like society in the metaverse. Right, the metaverse, the online metaverse, where other people come and attack you for being open and honest about what you want to discuss, and it being a group thing to cancel you. So that's what's currently going on. That's what that's how communism works, right? If you want to revolt against a communist regime, you'd probably be all like, as the republic, the rebellion, you'd be all ganged up in your house. If there was one fucking rat in that house that told the government that you guys were planning on, you know, removing the tyrannical part of the government and everything. If there's one rat, that rat would probably be given so much money, and then that rat would have all their neighbors destroyed, and the government would reward that. That's basically how it works, and that's how it's working online. And you see this, it's like, I see all these biohacking community guys, you know, they're really passionate about opening people's minds to alternative medicine, and you can check out my TRT clinic that's completely legal and FDA registered, right? You can make the argument that, oh, that's steering people down a wrong path, getting their levels checked in their early 20s when they're gonna suffer pretty much almost hypogonadal their entire 20s, have a horrible quality of life because the environment around them made the fucking horrible testosterone level. And you're gonna say, as a noble natty, that Russo's a piece of shit for opening the door for all these people in their mid, early, late 20s to get tested, realize that they're at 300 nanograms per deciliter, get on testosterone, which is only 160 milligrams to 250 milligrams, which really doesn't impact biomarkers or really decrease lifespan, right? I'm not telling them to go blast 500 or a gram a test with multiple compounds on top, right? This is biohacking that's also being attacked, not just extreme enhanced bodybuilding abuse. You'll say that I'm a piece of shit when, if they do decide to go on TRT, they could change their entire quality of life, the entire trajectory of their life for the rest of their life, because they feel fucking like a man again. When you have a worldwide epidemic of lowering testosterone with a feminist propaganda movement that is currently destroying all masculinity. All of it. Feminism has won. I hate to break it to you. Feminism in the West has won. It's absolutely a landslide victory, in my opinion, for feminism right now. And you have all that, and you have noble natties bitching at fucking mid-20-year-olds who want to get on a little bit of test because they've been hypogonadal, pre-hypogonadal their whole life. Obviously, you're always still going to make a little test. Are you going to be a string bean and not have good erections and, you know, not have full confidence and all this shit unless you maintain optimal biomarkers your entire life, aka you're a high school athlete that never got out of shape, that continued training through college, didn't drink through college, or your epigenetics overpowered the drinking and the hormone changes through college, and then you kept going into your mid-20s to maintain your optimum endogenous secretion of testosterone? That's not most people. The whole society is designed to kill you and rob you of your natural testosterone. So apparently I'm evil by opening the door, opening the perspective that if I took this risk, obviously going on testosterone is a risk, drinking is a risk, getting in a car is a risk, smoking is a risk. If I got on testosterone as this risk, I would drastically improve my quality of life. I would be open in the world of biohacking and chemical enhancement, thus looking into other things that I've been lied to my entire life, thus expanding my knowledge, thus becoming an independent, free-thinking male that you could coin Sigma mentality, always questioning and always looking for a greater, more powerful mind to inhale knowledge from, not looking for a power of authority argument, such as a medical professional who doesn't know what they're talking about. Similar to when I went to the emergency room over my injection, I'll have Andrew throw that up, but I'm not going to throw that doctor under the rug. But I told Andrew I went back and forth with that doctor, and I was pretty disappointed in what she told me of what was the problem. When I discussed exactly what I did, she didn't really understand, and that's a medical professional. I'm a dumbass tinfoil hat wearing Russo, so just keep that into consideration. Where do you slot down below? Where do you see this playing out? Because this next 5 years will be pivotal on if the information like mine is suppressed into oblivion, the noble natties take over, the noble natties don't even realize what they're doing, or do you think I am an evil person, I'm a piece of shit, I am a scapegoat to the PD abuse community, and I should not have everything I built. I should have this all ripped away instantly from me. All my work over the past 5 years gone. Russo, you're a piece of shit. How does it slot in with you? I'll see you in my next video.